Give me land, lots of land, under starry
Can you hear that?
skies above.
I can.
Don't fence me in.
Let me ride through the wide
Open country that I love. Don't fence me in.
let me be
In the evening breeze
and
listen to the murmur of the
Ukulele, please.
Tell me now forever, ask you please, don't fence me in.
Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the sky. Let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise.
I want to ride to the lakes where the west commences and gaze at the moon till I lose my senses, and I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences.
Don't fence me in.
It's good.
Oh, give me land,
Lots of land,
under
starry skies, don't fence me in.
Let me ride the wide country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze and listen to the murmur of the
Ukulele, please.
Stand me up forever. Ask you please, don't fence me. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky.
On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder.
I wonder if there's anyone else trying to get in.
There was a name, Michael, somebody came
Huh?
up.
I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences.
I've got Michael
And
Keats.
gaze at the moon
Yes, that's the
till
name.
I can't.
I lose my senses, and I can't look.
Oh, I've got everyone.
That's Sybil.
Can't stand
That
fences.
says, join in, my dears. Fence me in.
Oh, don't you
Fence me in. The question is, Beth, can you tell us why you chose that song?
I just
who it
remember it when I was a child and I liked it. And I'd been in the country, I think, and it just appealed to me.
And who's it directed to?
Well, I was directing it to Melbourneites, but it's a bit past its use-by date because we now are all free.
Well, what about all the other countries that still have COVID? What about the US?
Well, they've got a bigger problem than that
That's
coming
right.
up in a couple of weeks.
So maybe we could tweet the song for the people in the US because I've got family there. How about
Right,
that?
yes.
Yeah,
It would be
we'll make a song out of it with the US COVID and change the words. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay,
be fine.
fine.
Maybe the US would do well to be fenced in, though, with the way things are going now.
Yeah, because they can travel from state to state. Maybe it's directed at people who, maybe it's the virus singing. Don't fence me in.
When fence people in, they want everybody to get it.
No, I could send it to the Tony Robbins Facebook page. There you are. That'll get around. It's a good idea, at least. Okay, well, anyway, that's number one. Don't fence me in. How about Sybil? What's your song again? I've forgotten.
To dream the impossible dream.
Oh, the impossible dream. Well, let's play it. All right. Just give me a second. We'll play it and we'll sing with it. I'll send you all the stuff about this later. I didn't get it organized.
Daniel, you're sewing. What are you making?
Oh, here's karaoke.
I'm studying conservation at uni at the moment, and we just we're putting together toolkits now. So I'm making a tool roll.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes, I understand.
I would
Sorry, we have
expect
to
you
wait
sitting
for
there
ads.
with your
I'm
guitar,
muted.
Daniel.
I need another one for my guitar, a guitar roll as well.
That would be somewhat bigger.
Dream, the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to run
where the
where the
brave
brave dare to go, to right
Right.
the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. Sorry, I'm out of tune.
Everybody.
This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless,
no matter
no
how
matter how
far.
far, to fight for the right,
Without question or pause,
to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I know I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart
Will
will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to rest. I think that's enough, huh?
Yes, yes.
The world
Song to sing.
will be better for this. I'll just stop now. We're just trying this out.
That one man only
Covered with scars, still
still
strong
strong with his last ounce of
courage to reach the unreachable star. Okay, I'm not sure whether this is working. I'll stop it now.
The end anyway. The
Stop share.
words have all been there.
Huh?
I said the words have all said it, so it's been there.
Yeah, now tell me, Sybil, why did you pick that song and who's it for?
It's for the world. With the way the world is at the moment, it's in a hell of a shit state, to put it blankly. I'm a very great pessimist, and it's to dream that next week it'll all be right in America.
Oh, inshallah.
Hopefully,
Inshallah.
yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
There we
Okay.
are.
Well, we'll direct it. We'll direct it to who? Any particular person in the world, or any particular country or group?
Biden. Biden.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I've got another song for Biden. I'm Biden my time. That's the kind of guy I am.
You're biding your time. It's too close for comfort.
Yeah. Too close for comfort now. Da-dee, da-dee, too close for comfort now. Okay, now let me quickly introduce people because we don't have all. Oh, we have time. Does everyone want to introduce themselves and why they're doing this? I'm doing this because I think I can make a difference by getting people to sing to each other, particularly those who need a bit of music and song and converse in song. That's my second alter ego after being a public health doctor. So I'm having fun. That's the main thing. Okay. Yes.
Me, I just enjoy singing.
Okay.
And I enjoy hearing other people's choices and their reasons.
Yeah, I had a Joyce. She was my sister. Daniel's been very helpful to me. He's a mine of information and stuff. And we wrote the ebook together for Joyce. Actually, he did a lot of stuff on the ebook for me, and we're working together on this. So, Daniel, just give me an intro, please.
So I'm Daniel. I'm doing this just because I really believe in the project. I think it's a really great idea, and everyone really loves to sing, and I think that's great. So it's something I can get behind for sure. And any way I can help out, I'm happy to help out.
And you did a song, Your Mother Should Know Me. Your Mother Should Know last
Your
time.
Mother Should Know, yes, a Beatles song.
And that was for what? For what?
I suppose for my mother.
Yeah,
She's,
okay.
yeah, she's living alone this lockdown, so she's a little isolated, I guess.
You going to promise to sing it to her?
Yeah, I'll sing it to her, yeah.
Okay, good. That's the main purpose. Okay. I just had an idea that why don't oldies sing back to their young people? Why not have an oldie reversal?
At the moment, Fred, we're all young.
Yeah, we are actually. And we're all young oldies. That's the main thing.
I think that's a good idea, because I think, everyone remembers the songs that their parents or grandparents used to sing them, kind of thing. So,
yeah, and some of them eternal. Even the young kids. Nursery rhymes obviously are eternal.
Yes.
They're great source. Yeah. Okay, it's something I'll explore. Sybil?
Why I'm doing it, because you've been working very hard. It's a good idea, and I think it's good to support you as you're doing it.
Thank you. Well, you can't lift me. I'm too heavy at the moment.
Well, we're all heavier too.
Adela?
It was a good idea. You contacted me, and I don't do the singing, but I've got songs that I think about. And the one that I thought chose, Hallelujah, was one that I thought was incredibly evocative, both the words and the sentiments behind it. Also, you can take it so many different planes. And it's a song that has really come to the fore with people singing it now with COVID, or now before, when we're all locked in. And it was something that everyone knew could join in as well. So it was a way of sort of connecting people from all around. And if you go on the onto YouTube, you'll find there is a presentation made by Medical Mothers. And I
downloaded that. It's amazing. Yeah,
it's amazing. And it really, if you look at the people's faces, both the musicians and the people who are participating, there's a sort of a real sense of communal joy as they go through that song. And I thought that
Let me show it now. I can show it to everyone now. Just a minute. Can you see it?
We'll be it, yep.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hmm. Great.
I've got the words here. I should have given you the words. Anyway, just listen. I'll just get the words for the other songs.
Oh, terrible.
That's really good.
That was nice, very nice,
Lovely.
Lovely.
absolutely
And I
lovely.
think that we look at the words.
We're back again. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about Hallelujah? Della?
What? Well, what do you mean?
Well, you told me the choir. So tell me what we should do about it, or what you should do about it. Now
What I
you've
should do
chosen.
about it. Well, the reason you sort of, I suggested it was it's really appeals to me and my situation on a number of levels. First of all, it's reminiscent of if you've got some religious beliefs, that can bring that out in you as well. It's also a very, very strong theme about a man's love for a woman and the etc. It also draws in on allusions to Samson, Delilah, and how he succumbed in the sexual act, etc. And it's also, that's a one level, and then on the other level, it's so well known and it's the melody is so enticing that people really sort of feel the best sort of emotions to each other with it. And that to me, I thought was a fantastic melody.
And so is it for you, or is it for other people, or anyone particular, or any group?
No, I think we've sung it together in groups, friends of mine, etc. We've listened in groups when we've listened to music, and that sort of comes up, and you can sort of see people sort of go into a bit of like a dream-like sort of state, etc. And we say it's beautiful at the end. So it's a very, very relaxing
Yeah, I understand.
piece
But
that you can relate in your
is
own
this
way.
off the cuff, or is this an organized group, or what?
Oh, no, just off the
context?
cuff. Friendship group.
So you just burst out singing things.
Well, we were just sort of sitting there. We just had something on the background. It came out, and all of a sudden you could see sort of us going, ah, and sort of trying to sing to the music. It was just a feeling of camaraderie.
What about making an advertisement for a social cause with it?
I think you have copyright issues, wouldn't you?
It depends. If it's for education, I think it's okay. I think you can get away with it.
I don't know. I know Leonard Cohen, I think, has passed away, but it's been appropriated lots of different ways. But
there's about 50 different singers on it. If you go to Wikipedia.
His gravelly voice really sort of made the thing even stand out even better, because I mean his voice is really quite gravelly. Very gravelly, actually.
No, that's true. Yeah, I think you could get away with it. I mean, people have been doing this. I mean, songs about the COVID, they're parodies of all sorts of different copyrighted songs, and nothing's happened to them. In fact, and some of them have millions of views. I mean, I'm not saying we'd have it, but it's worth considering at least. But it seems to me that if this is something for you and your friends, basically.
Well, it was something that you asked me, what does it mean? This has really been something that we've used before. And it's a reminiscent of the times that we were together before COVID, and we'll soon be together again.
Okay. So it's not really for people who are lonely and isolated necessarily. It could be if you wanted to play. Yeah.
Thoughts. No,
it's an amazing song. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it could be in whatever context you wanted it to be. It depends on the person, the individual, how they wish to use it. I mean, I'm using it to remind myself of lots of things, including the camaraderie of our friendship groups. But indeed, you could be using it to remind yourself of a very special relationship. And so it's one of these songs and melodies which you can absolutely use to what emotionally you want it to be.
Okay. Say if advance 30 years, all right, and you're on your own somewhere.
Yes.
Would it make a difference to you if someone played the song to you?
Assuming I could still remember at that stage, because I'll be well over 100.
That's all right. No,
no.
you know, the older you are, the longer you live. You know that, don't
Yeah,
you?
absolutely, absolutely. It depends. I mean, you've got to think of the situation. You've got to think of the song itself, and certainly, if you were in if you were in a mood where you were trying to reflect on on your losses, etc., and that was a very, very special melody to you, I don't know whether it would really exacerbate your feelings of loneliness or whether it would make you feel more.
It could be sadder. It could have
Yes,
the
on the
opposite effect.
sadder, or yes, I mean, depending.
So it might be one of your friends who happened to be in that situation because you'd already had that connection beforehand.
No, I also had a connection with my husband when he died.
Sure.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, we liked that song together too. But it was,
Right.
it was more than that. Yeah. So when I looked at that, it also reminded me of Carol as well.
Yeah.
So that's one of many songs. To say that was the song, I wouldn't say that. And somehow I think that if it was a very special song to us, just a really, really special song, then I really don't know whether I'd actually share that. In other words, something that's very, very special to us might be something.
It's so private. It's so private that,
yes.
you know,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
But if it's you, all I'm
me,
saying is if you're
I
isolated and
yeah.
one of your friends or someone who'd you've been singing that song before and other songs had sung it
That's
to you.
different. That's different. That becomes out there, and
That's
we're
right.
sharing it together. But if
That's
it was
right.
something very special just for me and Carol, then possibly I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's some circumstances where you have to be rather careful, I suppose.
Well, that's an individual thing. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
I'm just being overly sensitive. I don't know. That to me is important. It also means that when, if, for example, someone is at a stage where they are, they're being very introspective, or maybe they're somewhat depressed, and this song means a heck of a lot to them, it might only exacerbate their feelings of loneliness. So sometimes you've got to be very careful.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the issue is, how do you find out what songs people in that situation would benefit from? And sometimes if you know in advance, then it helps. But once they're isolated, it might be very difficult to know because they're in a different situation.
So when you have, for example, music therapists who use music as a means to calm or whatever, what are their criteria for choosing certain pieces? Do they seem to go to the classical sort of pieces, or do they go more to the to these sort of pieces?
It depends on the person's age and situation, I think, what they respond to. But I really don't know very much, and it's worth exploring that. And I think I should do a Zoom for musical therapists, actually. I think that would be a good idea.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to my grandson, and at that stage he was about 11, and he was playing some Beatles songs. I said, "Oh, I know that." He looked at me, he said, "How come you know Beatles?" And I said, "Really? You know," I said, "when I was growing up, Mum, did you hear that?"
Well, some of these songs are just so
Absolutely, yeah.
They're extraordinary. Now, I've got one of the links is the best songs by decade. There's that amazing link that you can actually search for any song, and it gives you the music and the words.
Very
you
nice.
get the music for the first. If you look on the links of my email, it's called DreamWorks, I think.
Actually, I was thinking what I was just saying before, Fred, and I've sung in choirs to people in retired old age facilities, and it seems, just from my observation, if you could make the song sort of more jolly and sort of folk-like, they'll brighten up. If you go to the very sentimental ones,
Did you say 15th of June?
that seems to depress people. Seems to, yeah.
No, nothing.
I think like I think you're right that a lot of the time you're better off with just happy songs, but I think there's something very different about the sort of depressed you get from a song that is sad but very dear to you, if you know what I mean. Like maybe it's not the best thing for sort of cheering someone up, but there's sort of something quite beautiful in the sadness that comes from.
I agree with you, but it becomes an individual thing then, doesn't it? I agree with you.
Yeah, but so I think, you know, if these videos are something that maybe is being sent to somebody you love who's very dear to you, I think it's okay to pick a song, like if it's for like a one-on-one video, I think it's all right to pick a song that maybe isn't necessarily going to make them happy, but you know, it might make them sadder in a way, but I think there's still like, I think there's something better about the fact that you found something meaningful than just a song that's just going to make them just straight up happy or whatever, you know.
I agree, Daniel.
And it's a very individual thing. It's epidemiology is based on time, place, and person. So you could apply it to that sort of connection. Depends on the time, the place, and the particular person. And maybe sometimes you have to say, let's try it and see if it works or not, because then you can see the response. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to play it, but I'll send it to you. A friend of mine who is isolated, and I'm trying to reach him. He likes soft jazz. So I found something that has the 50 best soft jazz songs of all time, just to simply play to him and see what happens. So, you know, I think maybe you try things out. The one thing I like best is Take 5, Dave Brubeck, you know, all that mob. So there's no time to play it, but I've got it, and I'll send all this stuff to you by email when we're finished, because we won't have time to look through these as well.
Can I come in on this musical therapy side? Because I think it was Melbourne University were doing research on music with dementia patients, and I went to a couple of those lectures, and it is quite incredible how the dementia patients responded to music, to songs that they had known. They remembered the words from beginning to end.
No, that's true. That's true.
They did have a choir that came to the salon.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but what I'm doing is more preventive. I'm not waiting for people to get dementia and all the rest of it.
No, I was just making it as a comment.
No, it's been shown to settle babies, make plants grow, and cows provide more milk. I mean, it has an amazing effect. And I agree with you. I think the context I'm trying is more a preventive thing and get people in the natural course of events to sing to each other more. That's the broader area, but I needed a niche to people who are on their own, maybe with the COVID, but I agree with you. I think it's worth exploring more as a preventive than a curative issue. But I think that's a very good point you've raised. The song I won't sing it. I'll sing you the first two lines. The song I chose was called "Where Can I Go," which is an old Jewish song about the diaspora after the Holocaust and the choice for a country. And we used to sing that song on a golf course when I played with my mother and my stepfather, Hans. And when we hit the ball in the rough, we'd both sing the song, because on the second verse, it's "Where can I go? There's no place I can see. Where to go, where to go. Every door is closed to me." And then we'd point to the left or the right, because if we hit it on the left, we'd point that way. And we'd have a good laugh at it. But it's a very serious song, and maybe we shouldn't be joking about it, but it's the way I connect. It's the way I connect with him. And my cousin Martin, who got hit by a golf ball a year ago when we interviewed him, he's died now. He pointed at me when I said I play golf, and he said, "I remember the time I was hit by that golf ball," you know. So I think it's all about connection as well. It's all about being touched. And if it's sad, I don't think it matters so long as you're touched, and it reinforces memory, and it reinforces a time when you might not have been bursting with happiness, but it's a time of important emotion to the particular person, and it reinforces memory, and it happens now and then. So I have no answer to all this, but I do think it's worth exploring. And I do think if there's something that allows people to sing more to each other, songs of connection, not nastiness, but connection, love, gratitude is very important in song. So I think maybe this is worth it. Anyway, I'll stop now. Hi, Gary. Nice to see you again. Now we're just talking with each other. We've introduced ourselves. Beth is a teacher and she's interested in music, and she chose Don't Fence Me In. And we might apply it to the US where the COVID virus is a little bit of a problem. Daniel's my mentor in terms of looking after, in terms of Photoshop and looking after files and stuff like that. And he chose a Beatles, yours was a Beatles song, wasn't it? Can you remind us why you chose that?
I think, well, so for a start, the sentiment is nice. Your Mother Should Know is the song that I chose. But I think as well, like Beatles are like very universal.
Right.
And like as was pointed out, they're very like intergenerational as well, you know. So kids are still listening to the Beatles as if it's current pop music, you know. But at the same time, I think really any generation can get into them. And so yeah, I think that sort of universal appeal is a very beneficial thing for a project like this. And I think a lot of the songs that people are choosing are, you know, so like Hallelujah, and last week we had another one.
Oh yeah, The Impossible Dream we had, and Satchmo singing.
What a wonderful world.
Wonderful World,
so like these songs are songs that are very sort of universally liked, you know, and I think there's an appeal in that, and so it's a good reason to pick.
Yeah. I don't actually. Everyone talks about a niche to focus on people, but I'm not sure whether the niche is to a particular group of people or is it to a particular sentiment. Because what you're looking for is something that's shared, that is a very clear, focused goal. And I don't think, I'm not sure whether you even need a niche for that. I think the point is it's the commonality in the reason for doing this. Anyway, Adela had Hallelujah, and we had some ladies singing for us. And Sybil had, what was yours, Sybil? I've forgotten now, my memory.
The Impossible Dream.
The Impossible Dream, yeah. We played that together. And your reason again, just remind us.
Because that's the hope for the world at the moment, is for the what's going to happen next week.
Oh, that was going for Biden. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we've got three people. We've only got 20 minutes left, so I better move on. Deborah, Gary, and Bernie. Bernie came first, so maybe I'll switch to Bernie now. Okay.
Okay.
His camera's not working, but we can hear him. He chose Alexander's Ragtime Band from Irving, Berlin, and on the midnight, was it the midnight train to
the Alabama? Midnight choo-choo to Alabama.
Yeah. So can you talk a bit about that, and maybe we can play a little bit as well?
Well,
by the way, Bernie is a medical colleague of mine, and we studied together, and we've been friends all the time.
We've been stuck alphabetically. Yeah.
We can't separate because of our name, but there's Xerxes and Zerman, the duo. Yeah.
My father was in New York in the early 1900s, and 20 years later I was born, so I'm getting pretty bloody old. And he used to sing these songs to me when I was born in Australia. 20 years later, and they were in fact my lullabies because he wasn't aware of the nursery rhymes. He was just able to sing these early Irving Berlin songs, and he remembered early Irving Berlin singing them in the streets. And the reason they've come to me is has been spoken about earlier in the day. When people are talking about remembering from their childhood, they were my childhood lullabies. And people have been talking to me later on in the discussion about dementia, and maybe I'm getting very childish. So I want to hear songs from my childhood. It's not associated with COVID. It's not associated with being isolated. It's not associated with anything. It's just songs from my childhood.
And it makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's important. That's so important. I think singing for yourself makes you feel good, makes you feel better, good for other people as well as yourself, perhaps.
I think songs of that generation are also very universal, possibly because a lot of the time the lyrics are so inane that they can be applied anytime. You know, they're fantastic. But it's not an Irving Berlin song, but the song "Come to Me, My Melancholy Baby," if you know it, is another sort of that period. And I remember hearing a story about there was I think it was a First World War field hospital that there were a whole lot of patients obviously lying there, and someone came in to entertain the troops or whatever and was playing piano, and somebody played that song. And one of the patients who was lying on one of the stretchers, who had complete amnesia and didn't, like, I don't know why, but he didn't remember anything about himself, sat bolt upright and said, "I wrote that song." And he did. He was one of the writers of the song. That's how they identified him. So it's, I think, a great example of like the extraordinary power of music, and particularly I think speaks to songs of that period. You know, sort of ragtime.
I'll just play it for you. All right. This is Ella Fitzgerald. Can you hear it? See it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me think of my parents.
I'll do the singing part.
Silver lining. So smile, honey dear, while I wash away each tear. It's always be melancholy.
Okay, we have to stop now because we need to finish off. We've got 13 minutes.
When the midnight choo-choo leaves for Alabama, I'll be right there. I've got my fare. Show to me. When I see that rusty-haired conductor man,
Oh, great.
I'll grab him by the collar and I'll holler, Alabama, Alabama. Wow. That's where you stop your train. That brings me back again, down home where I'll remain, where my honey lands again. I will be right there with bells when that old conductor yells, all aboard, all aboard, all aboard for
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I seem to have lost vision, but That was one of my lullabies. My father used to sing to me.
A lively lullaby.
Okay. There we are. Nice
Good.
song.
Hey. Hmm.
I loved her, actually.
Good.
It was amazing. Okay, let's move on. We've got two more. We've got 11 minutes. So, Deborah?
Hi, I'm Deborah, and my song was,
Sorry about that.
I don't know what the name of it actually is. It's the Brahms lullaby, Guten Abend, Gute Nacht. And I chose it because I like to sing it to my grandchild who's in Boston, not Boston, Brooklyn. And I can't get there. So when I thought about singing, that's what came to my head, because that's what my mother sang to me, speaking of lullabies.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So that was my choice. And I think it's sort of immortal anyway,
Mhm.
as is as are the Beatles and so on.
Is that for you or someone else?
Well, it's for my grandchild, my
Have you-
granddaughter.
Have you played it to her? And what's her reaction?
No, I was with her for 2 months around her birth, and I haven't been able to see her
You
since.
don't have to see her. You can call her and play
Well,
it.
yes, we do. That's true. That's
Promise
true,
to play it
Freddie.
to
And
her.
we do a lot of FaceTime and videos and
Yeah.
communications that way.
Mhm.
Mm.
Have you played that song to her? That particular
No,
song?
I haven't, but I could.
Why,
I
try it
certainly
out.
could.
Yeah,
Mm.
okay. And
Yes.
we'll connect with each other and see what happens afterwards, basically.
Mm. Yes.
I
I
might
think
mention that just to reinforce, the idea is to start a database of these personal songs with the comments. And the people who made the songs, they have the choice of whether they want to be involved in them personally or not, and how much they want to say. Now, I'm going to record this, but this is not going on. The recording isn't going on YouTube, but I will
Thank
make
God.
a transcript of it. Well, we could put on YouTube if you like. I mean, there's nothing harmful about it. But I think
See the social dilemma and it'll change your mind. See the social dilemma on Netflix and it will change your mind.
Yes, exactly. Precisely.
Sorry, I don't get that. Is that a positive?
There's a film on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, which deals with all the issues relating to social media
Oh, I
and
see.
YouTube and so on, and it's not very pretty.
Oh, anyway, the point is that if this is going public, obviously you'd have to agree. That's all. Okay, so I'm not doing it public, but am recording it and sending it to you guys, and I might make a transcript of it. Okay, but you have to give an okay. So yeah, I've got the songs. In fact, I don't think we'll have time to play them, but it's the one I've got is in German. It's from a Schumann. It's from Schumann, of course, the tune. There's one in German, one in French, and one in English. So I'll send it to you. Okay, it's an amazing song. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up and I found it sung by Jonas Kaufmann, who's a great tenor. It's really lovely.
Okay, fine.
And he's, of course, a heartthrob. Anyway.
Okay. Yes. Now, it just reminds me of a song by Paul Robeson. It was also called Lullaby. It goes, lullaby, bye. Don't you have the man to play with?
We all know that too.
Yes. And it makes me cry, that song. I think songs that make you cry touch, I don't think they can do any harm if the crying is one of discovery. Because I think that's a good response. Gary, sorry, you've got 5 minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
All right, my two songs are Walking on Sunshine and You've Got a Friend.
Uh-huh. Okay. Now let me see. Which one do you want to play? I won't have time for both.
Well, try Walking on Sunshine. Katrina in the Waves, I think it is.
Yeah, that's right. 60 million views. Have they got the words? No, they don't have the words. So. Okay, well, shall we stop there?
Yeah, sure. The song's better than the video.
Huh?
I said the song is better than the video.
Oh, okay. Got the wrong one. Okay, and what was the other one?
The other one's You've Got a Friend by James Taylor.
Oh, yeah, okay. We've only got 3 minutes, so maybe I better let you talk a bit about it, and why, and who's it for, and your general sort of conclusions.
I don't have any great conclusions, but they're just songs that I think under difficult times people would like to hear. I'd like to hear. That's really all.
So when you say people, any particular people? You have in
Anybody
mind?
I'm trying to assist in getting through a difficult time.
Okay. And would you think about playing these songs to any particular person or group of people, or sharing them?
I particularly imagine sharing them with my family, with my children.
Okay. Well, it'd be nice. Have you shared these 2 songs?
Yes. In fact, I've got special songs. Whenever anybody rings me on my mobile, I've got, for my main people, I've got special music. So one of my children's got Walking on Sunshine. Another one's got Isn't She Lovely? Another one's got You're the Sunshine of My Life. So I have different tunes for different people.
Oh, wait a minute. Can you do that on your phone?
Yes, you can do that on your phone, so that when the phone rings, rather than just getting ring ring, you get a particular piece of music.
Oh, well, we'll Google. I'd like to Google that and find out.
When my wife rings, it's I've just called to say I love you.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, later on you'll have to. I'll try and find out how to do that on the phone. Is that just with the iPhone, or it's with an Android as well?
I really don't know, but I presume it's with any phone. I know it's with iPhones. But
okay, fantastic. Okay, well, that's amazing. Okay, that's something to think about. And I think to spread that message, I'm not sure whether many people know that.
I really don't know.
And because the sound on some of these phones is pretty awful. Okay, well, we're just about finished for an hour. I don't know if anyone needs to go, that's fine. We can carry on if you like. What do you guys want to do? Anything?
I've got to go now, but thank you very much for organizing it.
Okay.
I'll see you later.
Yes, thank you. Great, lovely idea.
It was great.
Lovely meeting you all.
Okay, great.
Yes, nice to meet everybody.
Lovely seeing everybody too.
I'll be seeing you in all those dark, secluded places.
There you are.
I've got 2 songs from.
Thank you, Freddie.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much, guys.
Okay.
I'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Freddie, for organising it. Very interesting.
Okay.
It's great to see you guys also.
Okay.
Likewise. Bye.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.